Welcome back to another edition of the Mr. and Mrs. Wrestling podcast, where every week we sit down with the people keeping professional wrestling alive, from the biggest names to the people building the future one show at a time.
And that's exactly what this Summer Indie Spotlight series is all about. We love hearing the stories that fans don't always get to hear, the long nights, the big ideas, the setbacks, and the moments when a dream finally starts becoming a reality.
This week we're joined by Matt Carter and Travis Dufour, the co owners of All Out Wrestling, a brand new promotion preparing to make its mark with its debut event, Forsaken, on July 25th at St. Michael's Park in Harpers Ferry, West Virginia.
We're going behind
So,
the curtain to talk about what it really takes to launch a wrestling promotion from the ground up. How did the idea become a reality? What obstacles had to be overcome? And why is now the right time for all out wrestling?
We'll also dive into Matthew and Travis' own history in the wrestling business, the people and experiences that help shape their vision, and what fans can expect when the curtain rises on Forsaken the very first time.
If you've ever wondered what it takes to build a promotion instead of just stepping into the ring, this is the conversation for you.
So settle in, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and let's shine a spotlight on passionate voices helping independent wrestling grow.
This is the Mr. and Mrs. Wrestling podcast. Let's get into it. All right, guys, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.
those are great. I
That
love
gave
that.
me
Great in
chills.
Wow, I know. This is an exciting time. I mean, this is you guys are debuting in just a couple short weeks. Travis, let's start at the beginning. What's the moment where you said, I'm not just going to be a part of wrestling, I'm going to build something of my own?
What a great question. And if I could just say that it's such an honor to be on this show. I know a lot of my friends have done this show. I'm just tickled pink with excitement to be here. But with that out of the way, this AOW, the All Out Wrestling, it's got a very special connotation to it. A lot of promotions start maybe you got kicked out of a place so you had to start your own or some kind of a negative connotation. AOW started because me and Matt met over 20 years ago, and we met going to independent wrestling shows. We were both ticket paying fans, and our friendship has lasted since then, all the way till now. And I'm kind of in the twilight of my careers. I'm in my late 30s, and I'm was totally out of the wrestling business. But then Matt, he's got a background in entertainment, and he's been sitting on all these ideas and all these things he wants to do. And he offered me a position with AOW. We both sat down and decided that we have a lot more in common than we think. Pro wrestling is such a business of entertainment. I saw Matt check a lot of boxes for me. I told him to do all out wrestling to begin with. Matt's really, I needed him to check all the boxes, and he did, and he has. And I feel very lucky and fortunate to be knee deep like you said, we're only a couple weeks away from the first event. We are knee deep in
I-
all out wrestling.
I'm getting anxious thinking about it in a positive way. It's like the night before Christmas. I'm over here like, oh man, it's only about 3 weeks away.
We are so excited for your first show. I mean, we've seen a couple of, the guys, friends of the pod, are going to be in Forsaken, and so, we already kind of have like this emotional stake in your very first show, and we're so excited for it.
And now in AOW as well. 20 years ago, whenever I met Matt, he had an interest in backyard wrestling, and I was already backyard wrestling. So whenever you get those two ideas combined, we started meeting up every single weekend. And whenever we wasn't meeting up on the weekend, we were talking on the phone, we were on instant messenger. I mean, this dude, we were connected at the hip whenever we were teenagers. And our promotion then was called All Out Wrestling. And our big backyard event that we would have every year was called Forsaken. And so there's just a number of things that we're taking from our teenhood, practically our childhood. And
Yeah.
we're, as adults, 20 years later, we're making everything that we've ever wanted to see in wrestling come true.
So, Travis, you're launching that debut show, Forsaken, that has this meaning from your childhood. How special is it to go from a childhood dream to seeing that come to real life and, having others pay and, want to come see your show and be a part of it?
I mean, it means the world. I mean, it means the world. Truth be told, just talking from my perspective, I thought that I was going to be wrestling for the rest of my life. And in 2017, I ended up having a career ending neck injury. And ever since then, I've just been kind of like, as an entertainer, what do I do? What can I sink my teeth in next? And I've just been kind of trying to find whatever it is, and I can't find it. And now here we are almost 10 years after the injury. I've done commentating. I've done a couple of things, but I think that I believe that this is going to be the next venture for me for the foreseeable future. I mean, me and Matt have literally, we're going all in on all out wrestling.
Now, Matt, starting a promotion is no small task. What are some of the biggest doubts and fears that you experienced initially when All Out Wrestling was kind of just this idea?
So a long time ago, I mean, Travis was a worker for 16 years. Like we know that Travis has had an indie career that, is very admirable. But I used to be a worker very young in my life. I worked for about 2, 3 years in the industry as a wrestler. And I understand the way it all works. I understand, just the basic, just like what we all love about it. So like my whole thing was it's a passion project first. I'm not out here to make money or anything. I want to invest in a good roster and a first show that makes sense and that like it makes me happy before it makes everyone else happy. I think that was the goal. And I think that was Travis's goal too. He would like to say like we cherry pick things we like from wrestling and we kind of throw it all in the blender, and that's what Forsaken is now. And I think it goes back to what we did when we were kids. It's kind of like I don't want to say living out wrestling fantasies because we're adults here and everything we're doing is independent and legitimate, but it is kind of that in this inner childhood glory. It's like looking through the lens of your 13 or 14-year-old self and like, man, I could actually like do this the way I want to do it instead of the way I was told when I was coming up. And it's like, kind of taking your power back. And it's like just trying to make not only a great show, but something you would like yourself before anyone else would like it, and I think that's what Travis and I did with Forsaken. It's, like I said, very much a passion piece before it's a money grab. I know wrestling is at the time where it's the most lucrative it's been. There's a lot of federations right now, especially in the Mid-Atlantic territory. I'm not trying to pop up and show out and show off or anything, but I think Travis and I are just here to have fun, and that's what All Out Wrestling was when we were kids, and that's what we're gonna try to make All Out Wrestling now.
Let's talk about the grind from the promoter side. What's something that the fans would never realize goes into putting on a show like this?
My God. I mean, being a promoter is very interesting because as a worker, as somebody who has talked to promoters, and there's a certain lingo that you have to have, a certain kind of dialogue that you have to have with these promoters to kind of get what you need out of the business agreement. Now I'm the booker. I'm the guy that all these guys are hitting up and they're wanting to figure all this stuff out. It's definitely it's not my favorite thing in the world, having to juggle, all the egos and what have you. Um, I am constantly reminded now that I'm back in the wrestling business that I'm in the wrestling business, and this shit is just it doesn't make sense to me at times, talking about just how people are. But whenever you deal with humans and you're trying to create something with multiple minds, there's so many people coming together for this thing. You're going to have some head clashing and stuff like that. And I get that. But so far with AOW, just talking about all out wrestling, because I've promoted before, this is my third time at this. So far, this has been done so much better, so much smarter than I ever have. The roster so far. I mean, you gotta do your research, ask around about guys, but this roster on July 25th, when people come out to St. Michael's Park, I hope that you understand that there is a guy who's a lifelong guy. And Matt, also, we sat down and we watched a lot of tape before we decided on who all was going to be involved in AOW. When you come on July 25th, just know that when you see this, this is from lifelong, true hardcore like fans that want to give you what we want to see.
Yeah, we kinda brought it old school. We kinda, like, recreated and regurgitated, like, what we used to see on the indies when we were kids. Because I feel like a lot of wrestling is safe now, but when you say that, immediately their brain thinks, like, deathmatch or thumbtacks or fire or something. It was like, no, it was just more abrasive, more in your face, kind of like a punk rock mentality of wrestling. It's like you could watch what was on TV. It was a lot safer, a lot more by the book. But like you go to an indie show, you'll see something that it's more in person, up close and personal. You'll remember that for the rest of your life. You're a wrestling fan. So it was like we just kind of wanted to bring that back. Like we would have had cell phones and like smartphones back then, and it wouldn't have been the same because these were like real life experiences we were having when we were really like young. So we really wanted to bring back old school wrestling, but make it modern and give like a modern twist to it. That's really the goal was.
So, I mean, you guys clearly have a vision for this, and All Out Wrestling is something that seems like it's been a lifelong project, even if you didn't know it was going to lead to this point. So, when fans walk into San Michael's Park on July 25th for Forsaken, what's the vibe you want them to feel? Like, what emotion are you going to try to evoke in your fans?
I'll let you answer this one, Matt.
How I would like to answer it is I feel like some of the people there have probably even never been to a wrestling show because a lot of my friends and like I had a small music career at one point and things like that. So some people are just coming out to support me in general as a person. So for them, I think it's more important than the average wrestling fan. Cause what I tell everyone is like watching wrestling on TV or the internet is cool, but it's not as cool as like you're in the venue, you smell the popcorn, um, you're like a little kid, feet barely hanging off the seat. You hear the ring, you see the personalities, the storyline unfold. That's what it's all about. It's all a play at the end of the day. And when I say play, I don't mean a money play. I mean an actual like opera theater. It's a play. It's a story. It's extreme, sports. It's so many things. So it's like to me, like I like that about it. Like to be able to do that on our own accord, how like Travis and I like it, and like just take our own creative minds and throw it in the blender and try to figure out what works, what doesn't. I'm more looking forward to that than anything.
I mean, from a fan perspective too, it was like, as a fan, it's so fun to like get close to the wrestlers. So like your seat, you want to get close to the wrestlers, or during intermission, you want to talk to these guys. And I'd get so nervous before I talk to these guys. And then years later, I'm the same guy. And and you take a lot of this stuff for granted. I know I did. I thought that I'd wrestle forever. So just walking around the ring, signing stuff, talking to fans. That is part of the experience with AOW. We want it to almost feel like a cookout. Like you just feel so welcome at this. Also, we are going to have like vendors and stuff like that at July 25th. So this is kind of this is more than pro wrestling at this point. Like we're creating a huge event for Jefferson County. I know that I've talked to the newspaper, and we are trying to really get a lot of people to get out of the house and bring out your family. Because especially at that ticket price, the general admission being $10, kids 12 and under for free, we're hoping to pack this place.
Nah, exactly. Couldn't have said it better.
So with going into this, Travis, what's been the toughest obstacle you've had to overcome so far getting All Out Wrestling off the ground?
Just getting it off the ground. I mean, I don't know if you guys. So we're trying something new with AOW. We all know that AI is becoming a thing in the world, and it's either going to be good or it's going to be bad. We're all waiting to find out. Well, AOW is using AI in the most creative way. that any independent wrestling company has so far. We've created the Chet Steadman Show. Chet
Oh my
Steadman's not
gosh, I
yeah.
thought it was a real guy.
No, really.
I was like,
It
"Oh my god,
you're
Chet Stedman,
oh,
who is this?"
I mean, I've spent a couple years, telling jokes on a stage, stand-up comedy. And right now, I've totally stopped doing stand-up comedy to totally focus on AOW, but I can't stop the comedian in me, so I have to scratch that monkey somehow. So I created Chet Steadman, and there's all these characters. We've already done 3 episodes. They're 20 minutes altogether. And the final
very,
episode
very
is looking to be
adult and, like, adult comedy. I don't recommend it
yeah.
for, like, young children. Let's say that out the gate, because there are kids watching and their families and stuff. It's very much for 16 and up. Like, just it's very, like
Yeah.
We
I'm
love
laughing
adult humor here. We're all about it.
I'm laughing trying to explain it.
It's
Totally
such good
get it.
stuff. And it's definitely been one of the most fulfilling things that I've done so far. And I do want to announce here on your podcast that Chet Steadman, though he's a character I've created, he will be at Forsaken. Physically, he will be there.
You
And I
hear
don't
it
want
here
to
Hear
first.
it
yes,
first,
I
folks.
don't want to tell any more about that because that's I was like, yeah, there's going to be surprises on the show. I was hoping that was going to be one, but I'm too excited. Chet Steadman's going to be there.
That's awesome. So, independent wrestling does thrive on passion. Clearly, you guys are passionate about AOW. How do you plan to connect with your audience and build a loyal fan base?
I mean, we're lucky to live in the Mid-Atlantic region, which is, like, West Virginia to Georgia. I wanna say that that's the most loyal fan base of wrestlers that I think has lasted, like, decades since, like, the old era, like, the '60s and '70s. So, I really wanna grant it to the region before I try to take any credit like it's my grand design or something. What I'd really like to say is, like, I'm just going off experience when I say it's like I used to go to wrestling shows and get a certain kind of feeling in my chest and an excitement and an adrenaline rush. And a lot of the wrestling I watch on TV, and I'm not going to name any names, it's just not exciting. It feels more forced and commercialized. I just want to create something that it's like maybe some 12-year-old little kid like our show. It's families like general admission, kids 12 and under are free. Maybe some little kid comes, they see some guy do a 450 or some crazy move, then that kid grows up to be the next, like, Samoa Joe. Or that kid grow like just some little spark of inspiration. That's worth more than 100 general admission or ringside tickets. Is more just spreading the energy of what Travis and I fell in love with when it comes to wrestling. And all the promotion and all the booking and stuff, it's easy. Like I've been working like music shows my whole life. My father's one of the number one music promoters in Florida. So I've been booking events since I was like 16. So booking the event really doesn't seem the challenge. It's more making the card interesting enough to where those people don't want to leave even during intermission. You wanna make it that interesting, you wanna make it a tip-top show from the front to the back, and I really think that's where I wanna take AOW. It's all killer, no filler, just like the show's only about 2 to 2.5 hours, but you're gonna get your money's worth.
So for both of you guys, you talk about putting on a good card, and to do that, talent is everything, especially in this business. What are you looking for in the wrestlers that you're bringing out to All Out Wrestling?
Yeah, that
Whenever we when we first started thinking about AOW and whatnot, I spent time in the business, so there was guys in my head that I was kind of thinking about. But you also need to remember, I had my retirement match in 2022, and then I left. So that's 4 years of not really doing anything wrestling. So whenever I came back to this and started this, I really had to think like, who's even wrestling anymore? Because most of my friends who like I've been on tons of shows with, they're my age and they're not wrestling anymore as well. So it's like, dude, just meeting the younger wrestlers, I've seen so much passion right out of the gate. Like, if I could name drop, let's talk about this fatal four-way real quick. We booked Killer Kylo. He's one of the guys that if you have gone to shows in the local, like the tri-state area, you've already seen Killer Kylo. But I feel like for a lot of these guys, they need the platform to really be able to do everything that they want to do. Because a lot of these places you'll go there and you got all these restrictions and you got these egos that you have to check. AOW's biggest thing is that we're checking egos at the door and we're just trying to have as much fire as we can in one night.
I'd like to say it's a place to build. Like, if you really don't have a Fed that, like, you're really feeling, like, accompanied to, or you have a home at, everybody likes to, like, zone through Feds, and just, like, live on the road. But if there's a place where you're trying to actually work on your craft and kinda build, that's kinda what we're looking for, because we're not expecting anyone to be perfect, like you said out the gate, that doesn't make sense. Especially, like, in the area we are, there's a lot of, like, students who are, like, they don't really have a lot of work, and we would love to work with, like, younger, newer talent because they really haven't been shaped or molded in any way yet to where it's like they can figure out their own deal and, like, what they like to do, what they're good at, what they're bad at, things like that.
I mean, and I did book a couple of my friends for it, the exotic gays. I mean, I'll speak for Tyler Caden. Tyler's definitely one of my friends. Daniel, right now, I could take her lead, Daniel. He's kind of pissing me off here lately. But
Oh, I mean, those guys, they're not doing so great. I mean, we just, watched the nut shot heard around the world the other day. So, I mean, on Thundercade.
I'm willing to work with guys like Daniel Exotic too, if it means I get to work with some of my best friends as well. And AOW, I mean, we're going to be running a lot of shows. I'm hoping to give a lot of kids who need the opportunity, not necessarily needing the work. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But the first card is the whole first show is half of the guys that I kind of know and the other half is guys that they sent us their resume and we did research and we booked them accordingly.
Can we name off, like, the show card, at least what we know?
Mhm.
Yeah, let's dive into Forsaken. I mean, we certainly have a lot of questions, about AOW in general, but let's dive into this show because Forsaken's exciting. It is coming up on the 25th of July. Let's get into this card. Why don't you guys break it down for us? Matt, maybe you can start.
Rebel Southwell versus RK Sawyer.
Ooh.
I feel like that's the most compelling thing that we can start out of the gate with because those two have had it out for each other since it was established, since AOW was a thing. Those are the two guys that that's the most obvious. It's had the most promos and attention on the channel. So I would want to say that we can talk about that first and foremost.
Yeah, let's get into it. Let's talk about this. It sounds like it's kind of been something that they've had between them for a while. So what's the story? What's the build? What's the build for Forsaken?
Well, I knew Rebel before. I knew Rebel whenever he was a young wrestler years ago, and I could tell back then that he had a couple screws loose. So whenever he hit me up to work for AOW, I said, "Well, we're gonna have to find somebody who's just as crazy as you are." And we were kind of sitting on RK Sawyer, and this guy, holy shit! Looked up a lot of his YouTube stuff, looked at his Facebook stuff. This guy is a serious, like, he's crazy. So to put him in there with Rebel, it only makes sense. I mean, they're kind of are. I don't want to say like they are our most like, there's such a mystique about both of them, so we just wanna go ahead and get it out of the way, Rebel versus RK Sawyer, night 1.
That's awesome. That sounds like it's going to be an incredible match and some incredible talent as well.
Without giving away any surprises, which match do you guys think is gonna have the fans talking all the way home?
Man, that's a great question. What do you think, Matt?
The battle royale, like at the end of Forsaken, the whole reason we created Forsaken when we were younger, Forsaken means there's one person left. You're the only one. So that was always our battle royale Royal Rumble type gimmick. So it was like Forsaken means there's only one person left. And I feel like a lot of the story hasn't been told yet. So that one person left might surprise you and you might not understand what you're seeing when it comes to the birth of AOW and its fruition. So to me, it's either that, the Royal itself, the Battle Royale, or it's the no holds barred Fatal 4-Way, CJ Myers, Paradox, Killer Kylo, and a mystery opponent. And that I feel like a lot of kids don't see. It's not exactly hardcore. It's not like that. I don't want anything too crazy. I don't want people bleeding. I'm just into like a good match. And sometimes when there's no rules, things happen. And it's very interesting. It's very entertaining.
That's awesome. And you do have a good card, a good, you know, group of matches. It looks like you've got 6 plus the battle royale, which I think is going to be so fun. That's my favorite, kind of match here. You guys are also featuring Manchild. I feel like anytime I talk to wrestlers in the 814 area, which is where we are, everybody always has great things to say about Manchild. Like he's almost, I want to say he's like legendary in this area. And so for you guys, was it kind of like a given to have Manchild on your show?
It's all Travis. And he's a 16-year veteran. I trust his judgment. And Manchild was somebody he brought up when somebody ejected from like my booking where I had somebody coming in to like be a part of this match against Epoch Joy. He backed out. Travis took it over. I trust him completely.
They say the show must go on. And the guy that we had coming from North Carolina, we were so excited to have Unit. You just said his name, Unit. Unit was going to tear stuff up in AOW, and we are still going to bring Unit to AOW at some point. But Manchild, if you look at the history and the career of Travis Dufour, Manchild has gotten this hand across his face so many times. So it's like it was and we did use some camera footage to hype up AOW of me crushing Manchild with a steel chair. And I feel terrible about that. I know this is gonna be to the public, and I want to say to Manchild, business is business. And in AOW, I'm not going to swing a chair at your head.
So, Travis, now that you're the booker in your own promotion, what's more important to you, matchup potential or a compelling story?
Man, it's all about the roller coaster to the end. I want the end of the night to be the cherry on top. It's all about that roller coaster. You don't want to give it all to him right out the gate and just have that nice flow. Yeah. What do you think, Matt?
Oh, I think the first half of the card is match potential. I think the second half of the card is story. I feel like it's a good, healthy version of both. I feel like there's going to be a lot of workers on this card that have never worked together before. I feel like we're bringing in talent from Arizona and North Carolina and different Virginia. Just like I want to make sure that there's something there that you've never seen before in this local area because the Panhandle is such a small area. Like where we do wrestling, it's you look at the same venues, it's the same cars, and that's cool because they're all talented individuals. I'm not hating on that. But I remember being young and like you'd see some random guy from New York or California or something like that in the mid Atlantic. And it was exciting. The guy could have been no one, but it was just nice to see someone from another territory come and visit ours. I feel like really important is experiencing new talent because that's also cross trade. It's like you run into a promoter, somebody who's never seen you before, you might get more work. It's good to work in new territories. I want more hand to hand with wrestlers and just like I feel like we live in a really secluded area because West Virginia and it's got a bad rap, but like when you come out here, all the workers are so talented. So I just want that. I want more hand to hand, like, oh man, those guys out there treated us well. That was nice. We had a good time. The crowd was great. I feel like that's the best thing for a federation.
And back in the day too, Matt, whenever we were kids, there was one promotion in town. one. So if you did not like it, tough cookies.
Or the,
But
like,
so like they say, it's like the godfather of wrestling from this area. He either gave you your career, that's where you started, or he was the reason why you never wanted to be in the wrestling business ever again. So it's like we're coming from a very history wise, like an interesting area because there's nobody who owns this territory. And so nowadays there's three, four, five promotions around here. So it is what it is.
and Travis, you worked for most of them, at least 3 out of 5, right?
Yeah.
So where we're at, it's a lot of good old-fashioned wrestling. So when you bring new federation to the area, a lot of people are gonna be like, "Well, what's that?" We're a very authoritarian kind of punk rock, at least my side of it, not Travis's. Travis is a professional. Me, like, I'm like, I help with graphics, aesthetics, booking, whatnot, creative. It's a very punk rock answer to a very straight-laced society of wrestling. And I'm not, like, saying, like, I'm not trying to do dirty backyard wrestling or anything where there's blood or craziness, but just creative booking and kind of pushing the normal standard of an indie show. I think that's very important, not only for the fans, but for the wrestlers themselves if they're inexperienced, because you have to kinda get stretched and moved into positions. As far as when I was a worker, I jobbed a lot of matches. I was a little guy. I was like 5'11", 170 pounds at my biggest. So I got pushed around and beat up a lot. And I don't think a lot of wrestlers know how to like, all right, tonight you're gonna go out there and lose. And they're like, how is that what? It's like, yeah, this guy's gonna like win. He's the guy. When Travis talked about egos, we're talking about that. Back when we were younger, we just said, yes, sir, no ma'am. Whatever. Like, we were very polite, and we were just happy to be a part of the show. And we want AOW to kind of feel like that, but we want to care more.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is back in the day where they book you just to hurt you. Yeah,
Like,
that's a different business.
like we were little kids. We were
Mhm.
teenagers. We were like young children getting German suplexed into a corner. Like, it was like,
See,
yeah.
especially at our local place, they had already dealt with there were some backyard wrestlers in the area who were a couple years older than us, and they had already went to the wrestling school, and they got fucked up. Well, most of them did, and they got sent packing. So by the time I turned 18, it was time to become a pro wrestler, and you had to think, "Well, where do I wanna get trained?"
Travis and I really got jobbed on, and we were like those little kids that were like underage, wrestling with like masks on, like filling jobber spots. Like, when people say that we haven't paid our dues or understand anything about this, and Travis had a way more illustrious career than me. I only wrestled for 4. He wrestled for 16. There's a way big difference.
Yeah, I
So
want you to try and tell me I haven't paid my dues.
yeah. So for us to start a federation, it's more like I said,
Yeah.
out of glory and how we want a resurgence of independent wrestling where like kids can feel safe and not judged, and no one's gonna like job on the kids like we were. They hazed us like it was like college. So like we always wanted to create, and then with the talent also, like we wanted to make a place where it's like, all right, you do have creative input on what's going on, but this is the goal, this is the finish line. We want to make it as cool for you as it is for us, and we just work in the harmony. That's
You
the
wanna
big goal.
leave wrestling better than how you found it.
Exactly.
That sounds like it's definitely the goal for you guys to leave it better than you found it, you know? So this is your premiere show, Forsaken. You know, this is like the launch of your dream, a career, something, a passion project, something that you're incredibly passionate about. So I'm assuming you guys are building towards, the future and getting the ball rolling. Are there matches on this card that are designed to launch, long-term rivalries or storylines for AOW?
I just wanna say, right right up front, right out the gate, that, yeah, there might be some things that travel over to the next show, but I will say personally, if anybody puts their hands on me in a physical manner at AOW, you will never work at AOW ever again. You will never be in All Out Wrestling ever again. I'm not playing around. So that's the first thing. But I will say that okay, so first show is going to be so much of just letting you know what AOW is. It's really hard to answer your question because it's just it's hard to answer your question because the fans are going to have to see AOW to really understand how stories progress.
The way I look at stories in AOW is we're looking to run 1 to 2 shows a month. We don't want it super spaced out once we start. We started AOW 3 months ago. Like, so this has been sitting a while and plotting and hatching and all that, but I think the Battle Royal and the Royal Rumble finish has a lot more in store than most people would assume of it being some guy just gets thrown over the top. I think there might be more at the end of that story you should pay attention to, and I think it's gonna mean something more than the normal battle royale would normally mean. You know what I mean, Travis? It's gonna
Yes,
mean there's something there. I didn't say championship. I didn't say anything like that. Travis and I don't even own a belt yet. Shit, we don't even know a belt maker. What's a belt? We don't even know. What's a belt? What's
A
a
belt
title?
just holds up
Yeah,
your pants.
exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
honestly, if you go to Forsaken and you didn't see something that hooked you to the next one, you're not a wrestling fan, and we don't want you to come back.
And don't hit Travis, because we won't want you to come back then either.
Swear to God, I will call 911.
So Travis, with 16 years of experience, how much thought goes into the flow of the show? And do you book the entire event like a movie with highs and lows?
Thankfully, in professional wrestling, I got to experience all sections of the card. I was the job guy who was just happy to be in the battle royal, opening match, first half of the card. I also, at the end of my career, up there at 814, I was the heavyweight champion for 2 years. So that was 2 years of every single show ending with me and whatever story, like, and it had to be something they did not see that night. And, I mean, I hate to toot my own horn. I'm the greatest heavyweight champion that area has ever seen because there was not one night they saw me defend my belt and it wasn't something worth talking about. So whenever you take and also tag wrestling, me and Caton also, like I love tag wrestling. So there's all these aspects. Plus, and I really respect Matt's point of view too, because if I was to book everything, it's going to be a certain flavor. And if you don't like vanilla, then Matt's strawberry isn't going to be, you're not going to be able to taste it. So it's like we need to get all of the flavors into the pot, just the ones that me and Matt have, to see if we can cook up something. And now that we have the card, it's been announced, like, this is sweet. Like, the fans are finally like, I'm going to have something to give you that I would love to pay a ticket to see. And that's the point of AOW.
Travis, you're a Hall of Famer for a reason. It sounds like you were incredible, and it's a shame we weren't here at the time that you were a wrestler. But it'll be fun to go back and watch your matches. If somebody asks you, why should I spend my Saturday, the 25th of July at Forsaken? What would be your elevator pitch? If you had 30 seconds to pitch it, what would you say?
Let me do the 30-second pitch. Put 30 seconds on the clock.
All right, let me get my timer out. All right, ready? 30 seconds, go.
Yeah, I was reading the newspaper and this college athlete, Yi Pak Choi, he's apparently going to be at St. Michael's Park, July 25th. Honestly, if you want to see a collegiate athlete, I'd go see Yi Pak Choi. He's going to be there 25th.
Incredible. That
Oh,
sounds like
fuck.
fun. The vanilla and the strawberry are melting. Collegiate athletes, dude. I mean, you're speaking to Steve with the athlete, and you're speaking to me with the food. So, all right, we're gonna do our rapid fire round. It's like a would you rather.
Yeah, like either or.
Okay, so in terms of story, story for the show? Opening match or main event?
Opening match.
Okay.
I was gonna say opening match too.
You
Technical
guys ready?
wrestling or all out brawl?
Technical.
I'm gonna go technical as well.
Okay. Singles match or tag team wrestling?
Tag team.
Let's just do it one-on-one.
That would be
So, as far as being a booker, one veteran to deal with or 10 hungry newcomers?
I'll
one
take
veteran.
the 10 hungry newcomers, dude.
I'm one veteran.
All right. These last three are not either ors. What match are you secretly most excited for?
The match that I'm looking forward to the most is the debut of Mike Strong. I don't even know what match he's in, but that's what I'm looking forward to. Mike Strong was he was his trajectory in the area. He was about to be one of the biggest stars in this area, and then he took some time off, and this is his first show back in a couple years. So like we are excited to have Mike Strong back.
That's exciting.
So, one word to describe Forsaken.
Go ahead,
Interesting.
Matt.
I think it's interesting.
I got the one word. The one word to describe this is culmination. This is the culmination of 20 years ago. I had my first training sessions to just start becoming a pro wrestler. So all these years later, the culmination of our backyard wrestling, this is our backyard wrestling company's name. This is a culmination of a lot of stuff coming. Culmination, that's my word.
Awesome. Mine's
Cool bit.
punk because you guys have talked about punk rock. It's the punk rock of the wrestling scene. So, all right. Bonus last closing question. If someone is on the fence about coming to Forsaken on July 25th, what's your message to them right now? Short and sweet.
Get off of that fence because we just painted it. And if you damage it, you're going to replace it yourself. That's what I'd say. Get off that fence and pay for the ticket. It's not expensive. If you
Dude,
honestly
remember
can't
when we
afford
were
it, message me. I would let you in for free.
Okay, guys, as we're wrapping up here, let all your fans know where can we find you on the interwebs?
We're really only on Facebook right now, All Out Wrestling. Also, alloutwrestling.com. We have a website.
Okay.
My name is Travis Dufour, and you're watching the Mr. and Mrs. Wrestling podcast. And remember, when one's not enough, do four.
All right, that's going to do it. Matthew and Travis, thank you so much for joining us and giving everyone an inside look at what it really takes to build a wrestling promotion from the ground up. Hearing the passion, the vision, and the work that's going into All Out Wrestling has been incredible.
We wish you and everyone involved with All Out Wrestling nothing but success as you get ready for your debut event, Forsaken, on Saturday, July 25th at Sam Michaels Park in Harpers Ferry, West Virginia. If you're anywhere near the area, go out and support independent wrestling. You never know when you're going to see the next breakout star before the rest of the world does.
Be sure to follow All Out Wrestling on Facebook to stay up to date on match announcement, talent reveals, ticket information, and everything leading up to Forsaken. Support the promotions that are investing in the future of professional wrestling.
And if you enjoyed this interview, we'd appreciate if you'd subscribe, leave us a 5-star review, and share this episode with your friends. Every share helps us continue shining a spotlight on the amazing people who make this industry what it is.
We've got more interviews, more stories, and more Summer Indie Spotlight episodes coming your way, so you don't want to miss what's next.
Thanks for listening to the Mr. and Mrs. Wrestling podcast, and we'll see you next time. And until then, keep supporting independent wrestling.
This episode of Mr. and Mrs. Wrestling is powered by W Energy. Listen up, brother. You know, in the squared circle, it's all about having the energy to go the distance. No sugar crashes, no jitters, just clean, focused fuel to keep you going through every promo, every match, and every late night wrestling binge. That's where W Energy comes in, the ultimate tag team partner for your brain and body, packed with vitamins, antioxidants, and a knockout flavor lineup. W is here to make sure you never gas out before the final bell. No fake stuff, no gimmicks, just pure power. So whether you're cutting promos or cutting down on fatigue, grab a tub of W and unleash your inner champ. head on over to w.gg and use promo code Mr. and Mrs. to get 10% off your first order. That's w.gg/Mr. and Mrs. Fuel up, throw down, and leave your competition down for the 3 count.